Here we go. So welcome everyone. I'm sorry for spoiling you the last slide of the demo, but yeah, let's go to the first one. And yeah, let's begin. Today we're going to cover our 6th demo for No Wallet, and you can see the agenda on this slide, but also let's switch to that one. So today we're going to talk about multiple things. So first, we're going to discuss our recent release with multi-chain and multi-asset support, namely version 2.4. And you can see these nice pictures of this release on your right side. Then we're going to see the demo, the actual demo of managing those tokens, which we just added to the No Wallet. So we will see how you can transfer RMRK tokens inside of each of these chains, which we have now supported. We also will do the demo for KINT tokens, because before it was kind of a special case for us. We couldn't support it because we have not implemented the right technical side for it, but now we can. And yeah, we will see that and other tokens. Then we're going to traditionally add some new networks right on the demo. So as soon as we will do it on the demo, you should be able to see new networks popping out on your mobile device and in No Wallet. And in the last part, we're going to review roadmap, and specifically, we're going to focus on the next part of our Kusama Treasury proposal, which are going to be NFTs. All right, so that being said, let's continue. Yeah, feel free to join our community links, especially subscribe to our YouTube so that we can have a nice pretty name instead of this link. And yeah, in the future, we are planning to grow our social media. I think we're very close to establish our Discord server. I know that Cole, for example, is not liking the Discord, but it seems like inevitable. So yeah, we'll try to expand the community in terms of the platforms and let's say regional support. So we now have the Russian group, but also we are planning to expand in this direction as well. So yeah, feel free to join our social media. And now let's proceed to the demo time. So a couple of words about multi-chain and multi-assets release, and a bit about like why we're doing this. So as soon as we started to add more tokens to the No Wallet, and specifically when we were adding more tokens, we were adding actually more networks. And before, from the technical side, we had the opportunity to display only one main token of the network. So for Polkadot, it's a DOT token, for Akala, it's AKA token, and so on, right? But many these networks, especially those who have some use cases for multiple tokens, they have like tens or hundreds or even thousands of the tokens, which means that we need to provide users opportunity to manage those, right? In order to have a completeness in our application. Luckily for us, it was a challenge, but not like a complex one, because in most of the networks on the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, we have pretty much standard way how we are doing the multi-assets inside of these networks. So it was a work for us to implement specifically something called assets palette and ORML palette, technically speaking. And the other challenge for us was how we're going to provide the visibility for these tokens, because if we're going to stick with our older approach, which we had, it was kind of not well sorted, because if we just continue to add more tokens on the screen, it will become unmanageable. That's why you can see that we, for example, included an option to hide zero balances, which was requested by lots of members in the community. And also, as you can see on the screen on your right side, we have now sorted our networks in this, let's say, groups, which basically are networks. And now you have some sorted way to see your balances. Now, that being said, starting from version 2.4, you have an option to support more than 50 tokens in your No Wallet. Specifically, we now support multi-assets in Moonriver, Karura, Bifrost, StateMine, Kintsugi, and Akala. And actually, that's an open list. So as soon as the networks will enable the multi-assets, for example, the Basilisk network is going to enable it pretty much soon, we will have it automatically supported. So you will have more tokens in more networks in your No Wallet, which is great. So this update is now available through the GitHub, so you can download the APK file from our GitHub. And for the iOS, you can download it from Firebase. And I think we should be very close to getting approval for now App Store and Test Flight. Since we received the feedback from App Store team, now we know what we should do in order to proceed with the review. And yeah, that should be much faster now. All right, that's the multi-chain and multi-assets release. And let's proceed with the demo of these tokens. So for the demo, I will use Android version, which is running in Android emulator right now. And also we will take a look in some web applications, for example, Karura app, Bifrost, Moonbeam, and Kintsugi, just for you to see how your, or not your, but account balances is updated in like both applications, the web one and the Android emulator, which I have here. All right, so let me grab this one. Just a couple of words to summarize now on the screen what I have just told. So now we have a different visibility for a total balance, and if you have been paying attention to our social media, you probably saw some lock icon here in total balance as well. So our next step would be to include the transparency for your total balance, and we would like to include information about your crowd loans participation, about your staking participation, and other parts of your balances right here. So you would be able to easily see and understand how your balance is distributed, right? Also, what we have here, now we have this categorization per network. So you can see that all of this is actually sorted by the value, fiat value. And basically, if you have like a certain amount of the value inside of the network, the whole network is taken into the account when we are talking about the sorting on the screen. So everything here is sorted and basically by the balance amount. Now you can turn off the option of hiding zero balances. So I can turn this off, and now I will see all assets which are supported in no world. And you can see that this is now a pretty long list. For example, if you take a look on Karura, that's lots of tokens, right? You can see that in the Bifrost, it's a lot of them as well, StateMine, and so on. So lots of users requested the option to hide it. Now you can. For this account, it's not really working well because, yeah, it has lots of tokens. But if you will switch to something like, I think this one, boom, you just have 2 tokens and it's kind of easily manageable, right? So yeah, what else can we say here? So we decided to add a little bit more colors. So now you can see the distinguish. So it's better to be distinguished now on this screen. So each network is kind of unique with these colors. Yeah, and you also have the sum of the total tokens inside of your network, which allows you to understand your distribution across the multiple chains, right? Worth to mention that adding new tokens, for example, in Karura or in other networks, is the same process for us, just like to add the new networks. So it will happen on the fly. You don't need to update your application in most of the cases. So yeah, that's also a great thing. Now, I think we covered most of it. Are there any questions regarding like design decisions or maybe suggestions what we should include here? Spoiler, we will have an option to also display your NFTs here. So there will be just a small section to navigate to your NFT collections, and we will see it later in our presentation. But I'm wondering, what's your opinion for this categorization approach? Because other applications looking towards to kind of do it in the opposite way. So instead of categorizing by the networks, some application might categorize it by the tokens. So instead of Moonriver, it will say like Kusama tokens, and it will show you your Kusama tokens in different networks. That's also a great approach, and I think that should be done later on as a customization option.
I like the, sorry, can
Go
we
ahead.
talk?
Yeah,
or...
sure.
Okay, I like the idea of showing the networks and each token in the network. I think it represents much more how the ecosystem works than only listing tokens according to the relay chains. I don't think it makes sense to only list the relay chains and the tokens there. So I like this format much more. Can we also talk later about a bit of whitelisting
Sure.
and how that would work?
Sure, of course. I also see a comment by the call. Yeah, so there is some tricky question. Let's elaborate for it like for a couple of minutes. So right now we're fetching the information about your contributions on the crowdloan screen. Let me find representative account. Yeah, that should be, let me switch to this one. Yeah, so first part is most of this information is fetched from the blockchain, right? So you can see that those which are without like via liquid, via parallel, those are fetched directly from the blockchain, right? And this is not an easy request, let's say, because the blockchain itself is not storing really inconvenient way this information. That's why no wallet needs to go to the blockchain and apply certain request just to collect all this information for all crowd loans and then aggregate it and show to you, right? So that's a tricky part already. The second part, which should be taken into account, is that you can see that we also include information which is stored not only on the blockchain, but which comes from, like, let's say, third-party servers, like from Akala or from Parallel, because if user contributed for these platforms, then we need to show him this or her this information, right? Otherwise, it will be not complete, right? Now, if we will take all these network requests and move to the asset screen, that alone will make the screen much more complex, because underneath this screen actually connected to now almost 30 networks simultaneously, right? So there is a connection to the Polkadot network, which maintains in real time. So if my balance changes, it will be reflected immediately on the screen. There is a connection to Akala, to Astar, and so on. So that screen itself already have tons of the networking. And if we're going to include the crowd loans logic here, that might be tricky for the devices with, let's say, low performance, right? So we need to apply corresponding testing for this before rolling this out to the production, so that our users won't be, crushing their phones with this new logic. But yeah, that's definitely a challenge which can be solved. We just need to try, we just need to find the optimal way for this. But that's our goal, because we see lots of the demand for seeing your total balance in one place. So yeah, we will do this. It's just a matter of time. All right, let's proceed with a, let's proceed with a demo of the tokens themselves. So let's start with, I guess, Karura, because it has lots of tokens. I will use one account in No Wallet, that one, which has different tokens on Karura. And here I will use that one account, which I will just copy address. And let's transfer some RMRK tokens from one account in Karura to another account in Karura, right? The flow is pretty much the same for now for these tokens, just like we had for Polkadot and Kusama and others, right? We are planning to improve it as well, so that we will have it a bit more straightforward and more convenient, but that's a topic for the future development. Right now, let's try to send the remark inside the Karura network. So let's try to send one remark. You can see that fees calculations, everything is working not only for the native token for the network, but also for the different assets inside of the network. And in this case, in order to send one remark inside of Karura network, you need to pay network fee in the Karura tokens, which is, it's pretty straightforward. Let's tap continue. We have a screen to confirm. Let's tap confirm. And transaction is submitted. So we can go here, and ideally what we should see is that number increasing to 1. Boom, that's just happened. Let's check it in Nova as well. Scroll down to Karura. And here we don't have our remark token. So let's give some time for Nova to load this information, if I'm not messed up with addresses. So yeah, it takes longer than it should. Always something is happening on the demo. All right, let's switch back to this account. We have this transfer, and let's go to the our Nova account. I believe that one. Yes, now it appeared. All right, maybe some network issues. So we can see that now we successfully sent the remark token from one account to another inside of certain network. And that information is displayed across different applications. So which means that it happened on the blockchain and yeah, everything verified. Worth to mention here that we are working right now with a subquery team in order to not only provide you history in the parachains for your main tokens, like for car tokens, which you already can see in No Wallet for most of the parachains and their main tokens, you can see the history, right? And what we are working right now, we would like to show additional history for those assets like Remark or other tokens inside of these networks, right? Okay. I have a message in the chat. Looks like a bug of parachain for which we submitted an issue. Yeah. Can you please provide a link, Ruslan, so I can show it on the demo as well? But for now, I will proceed further with the demo. So we just tested remark transfers in the Karura network. Let's try to do another token inside the remark, inside of Karura network, and then we will proceed to other networks. So technically speaking, Karura using the ORML palette, which defines how the blockchain using the multi-assets feature. Besides Karura, ORML palette is used in the Bifrost. So that means that how assets are managed inside the network is similar in those networks. So it's similar logic in Karura and similar in the Bifrost. So whenever we will do the demo for Bifrost, it should be very much the same, just like we did for the Karura. So let's try to transfer kUSD, for example, which is stable coin in Karura. Let's paste the address and let's send 1 kUSD. So we see that the fees calculation is happening, everything is fine. And now let's try to switch immediately to this account, right? That one, and see if we would be able to catch the live update on the Nova side. All right, so we should receive 1 kUSD inside Karura network in both like No Wallet and the Karura application. It seems that that transfer taking its time. So let's wait a bit more. The one should appear here as well as here. Oh, you saw that happened immediately in No Wallet and in Karura application. That's a funny thing. So yeah, 0 delays between those two, right? Okay, so let's finalize with Karura. Let's go to the Bifrost. Yeah, so there is also an issue provided, but we will talk about it later on. Okay, so Bifrost. Bifrost has lots of tokens as well, just like Karura network. Let's see what tokens it has. Let's go to this account, turn off the hide assets. Yeah, lots of tokens and the similar ones like kUSD. You have kUSD in Bifrost as well. So let's try to send something like, yeah, remark token. That's my favorite. Let's stop here and we need to get the Bifrost address from Bifrost application somehow. I think that would work. Doing the paste, 1 remark, calculating the fees. Once again, fees are in the native tokens, and in this case, it's a Bifrost token. Let's stop continue. No, that's great. I actually didn't know that we will see this on the demo. So you can face this situation in some networks, right? Especially in state mine. And that's actually the behavior which you have in the Polkadot or Kusama. Now, what is this saying to us? It's saying that we cannot transfer remark token to this particular account because this particular account is actually not existing on the Bifrost blockchain. And it's not existing on the Bifrost blockchain because it has 0 balance of the Bifrost token. So The bet application would just allow you to straightforward submit this transfer and you will be just taking these fees out, right? And the transfer will never be arrived to the destination. But no wallet tells you that, hey, you need to have some Bifrost token on this account before proceeding. So, all right, in this case, let's do double work. Let's send the Bifrost token to this account first. I think something like 1 Bifrost token should be enough. Or yeah, let's try 10 for the safety. So we have sent 10 Bifrost token, just that this account will now be existing on the blockchain. And now let's proceed with the RMRK transfers. Yeah. Oh, we just saw that the Bifrost application showing us that we now have 10 Bifrost tokens. So let's proceed with the RMRK transfer. Yeah, it's still saying the same error. Let's try to go back. Maybe there are no live checks for the balances on this particular screen for the recipient, but now that should work. Yeah. So now we have passed the check. The only thing which is left for us is just to review the transaction. All right, we have submitted 1 RMRK transfer in the Bifrost network, and ideally that should pop up to be 1 now. And also let's switch to the Nova in No Wallet. So yeah, now we wait for this number to be 1. You see, sometimes it might be felt that the transfers in the parachains are slower, and that indeed the situation, because the block finalization, but block production is set by the default to the 12 seconds in the parachains. That number is going to be reduced sometime after by the ecosystem developers, basically. But sometimes some parachains may contain complex logic, which will only increase this block production time. So you might expect that in certain parachains that will not be even 12 seconds, but something like 30 seconds. That being said, all parachain teams usually do optimization. So yeah, you should see usually 12 seconds. Now we face the same issue which was reported by the team. Let me briefly cover that one so that we will understand the context. The context here is related to the subscription, so that how our Nova and other applications basically subscribe to the updates for the blockchain. And sometimes it fails to receive the actual information, or yeah, the most relevant one. That's why we cannot see the RMRK balance changed here, but probably if we will just change our balance, change our accounts, and go back here, we should see this. Yeah, we got this information updated, because once we switch, we once again fetch the balance and then subscribe to the balance updates. So yeah, that just updated. That being said, we are working together with ecosystem developers on fixing this. So yeah, that's in progress. Right, I think we just watched the Bifrost and Karura, but those are based on the same technical solution for the multi-assets, like I said before. Now let's take a look on something special, which is Moonbeam and Moonriver networks. Now, Moonbeam and Moonriver networks are by default kind of unique networks in the ecosystem because they're UVM compatible, right? And for the multi-assets, they're using actually the standard palette in the ecosystem, which named assets, right? Right now we have, I believe, 2 tokens additional, which are enabled for the cross-chain messaging. Namely, it's cross-chain Kusama and cross-chain RMRK. Yeah, once again, RMRK. Let's try to send that one as well. Let's go to actually that account, right? Yeah, and before going here, I need to get my Moonriver address. I will go to the cross-chain RMRK, receive, and I have 2 options: either to provide the QR code if we are kind of missing in person, or I can even share this QR code with some corresponding message to the messenger, which I would like element or Telegram, or I can just copy the address. That's what I would like to do right now. Now I go to that account. I will select cross-chain remark, send. I do not have lots of remark here, unfortunately, but let's try to do something like 0.2. Now we might face the same issue like we did previously, because I'm not sure that I have some Moonrivers. But it seems it doesn't matter on Moonriver network. You see, some networks do not have this requirement of existential deposit, right? And we will see if that's true if we will receive our cross-chain remarks. Oh, that one has Moonriver, so yeah. But anyways, some networks might do not have existential deposit requirement. I know that Kintsugi network doesn't have it yet, but probably they will, because there are some protection mechanism related to existential deposit rule. So yeah, we should receive the remark tokens for this account. Maybe again, it's just a subscription issue, so we will need to once again switch accounts. Yeah, now we successfully transferred cross-chain remark inside of Moonriver network. All right, I think that covers most of our networks from technical perspective, because other networks using the same technology for the multi-assets, which means that all the assets you can see in Node Wallet, they are working in the same way, just like we shown in the demo, right? So we will not spend time of showing this on Kintsugi, for example, or other networks like StateMine. That will work exactly the same. All right, let me switch back to our demo slides. And let's proceed further. New networks. Now, I know that lots of you requested the adding Picasso network to the Node Wallet, and today is the day, actually, because we have been waiting until Picasso team will finalize the changes on their network. So the block production will be in normal and overall state of the network. So now we're going to add it to Node Wallet. And also Zeitgeist now is available to be added in Node Wallet. And of course, as we announced on our last demo, we now have option to include the Kintsugi network, just because we now support this multi-asset logic, right? So Kintsugi tokens should be available in Node Wallet as well. Yeah, quick reminder how we add the new networks. That's basically an open process which anyone can participate in, right? You just need to go to our open source GitHub repository, submit a pull request of adding new network. We will review it, test it internally with our development build, and we will approve it for the production. So that's usually the process. For now, most of the networks added by us, but we are planning to release the community guide how to add either chains to Node Wallet or certain new assets to Node Wallet to whitelist them, or to add a DApp to our DApp catalog in Node Wallet. Right, now let's quickly go to our GitHub. I already have a pull request opened by our team member Stepan, and it's also reviewed by Ruslan. So everything what's left for me is just to merge it. And for that to have an effect, we will go to other version of Node Wallet, because before I was using the development version, which already has Zeitgeist and Picasso, because we need to test integration before promoting it to the production. But now I will go to the production version of Node Wallet, actually. So let me go here. And let's see, do we have a Picasso and Zeitgeist here? It's very easy to check the Zeitgeist because it's like the last one according to alphabet order. And now we still don't have it because as I was mentioning all the time, it takes roughly like 5 minutes for GitHub to apply the changes on their side. So as soon as it will be applied, and we can actually check it if we will go Novutils, chains, version 2, chains JSON. And now we need to click row, which means that we will take exactly the same information what Node Wallet takes. And if we will scroll down, we can see that the last network right now, which is fetched from the GitHub, is a kintsugi, which means that GitHub has not updated yet. So it takes some time, as we were mentioning. Right, so let's wait in the background for 5 minutes and let's proceed further with our presentation. Now, let's talk about NFTs, right? NFTs actually is our next feature according to our Kusama Treasury proposal. So just quickly to remind you, we have 4 major parts of the proposal, which are DApps, new assets, NFTs, and the UI improvements, let's say, right? So we have finished already DApps and new assets integration, and now we are approaching the NFT support, right? In the context of our Kusama Treasury proposal, we will work on introducing managing state mine NFTs. So those NFTs which are located on the state mine, you would be able to not only view them, but also, for example, send those NFTs, right? Now, in addition to that, we will also enable functionality to view your NFTs which are based on the RMRK version 1 protocol. And for that, we are working with the RMRK team just to enable this feature into the Node wallet. Now, that would be available by the end of Q1. So I'm pretty sure that in the next 2 weeks, we'll have some demo to be shown with the NFTs, right? But the deadline for us is a Q1, basically. Besides that, we are also working with the RMRK team in order to implement something more advanced for the NFTs and Node wallet. That will allow you to manage not only your state mine NFTs, but all NFTs which are located in different networks, for example, Moonriver or Karura or other networks which are implementing the RMRK v2 protocol, right? And in addition to that, we are also planning to have a native user interface for the marketplace for the NFTs so that our users can explore and basically participate in the marketplace for the RMRK version 2 NFTs. And for that, we don't have estimates yet, but we are basically discussing this with the RMRK team. So more information will be shown in the next demos. And you can see a nice preview of how you will be able to see the, for example, marketplace, right? It's pretty straightforward and it's very similar to what you can find in our DApp section when you go to the, for example, either Canaria or Singular DApp, you will see pretty much the same interface. The only difference is that since we will build the native user interface, everything will be faster and everything will be more like smooth, convenient, and so on. Because yeah, we are doing this development using the native technologies, which usually have a greater impact on the user experience. All right, that's for the NFTs. Yeah, that's actually an issue because if you will go to the Node wallet right now, you will see that we have already booked all the places for the bottom navigation bar. So we need to kind of reconsider how we're going to place the functionality inside the Node wallet. But for the viewing your NFTs, kind of your portfolio with NFTs, you can see on this slide that on the asset screen, you will have this small section saying like your NFTs. You would be able to tap on it and you would be able to preview all your NFTs that your account has, right? So kind of we want to have this idea of single point of entries to understand yeah, basically assets for your account, right? Which can be tokens, NFTs, and other assets in the network. All right, let's quickly check how we're doing with having Picasso and Zeitgeist enabled on the production version. Let's enter the pin code, give it to load for a bit and scroll. We should see Picasso. Yeah, we can now have a Picasso network and a Zeitgeist, which means that we successfully added 2 new networks on the fly. And you can basically check it in your Node wallet that those 2 networks now appeared on your site as well. Everything is transparent and open source, which is great. let's come back to our slides. Now, are there any questions regarding the NFTs? If not, let's move forward. And we have our final section, which is plans and the roadmap. So as it was mentioned on the demo, but let's summarize it, the market availability status. So No Wallet is available in App Store. We are still in the process of review for the 2.3 version, which is actually version with DApps. It was taking like 3 weeks for Apple to come back and provide us feedback. And just yesterday, they contacted us by phone and we discussed what we need to change in our DApps logic. So we will work on this. And hopefully, once we will submit a new version for them to be reviewed, that will go much faster than previously, because usually now Apple tries to review the apps much quicker than in the past. So nowadays it should take like from 1 to 4 days for app to be reviewed. Now, Google Play review. We're distributing the applications through the GitHub. So now you can download latest version through our official GitHub. And for the Google Play review, we have some progress. So I assume that in next 2 weeks, we should have the Google Play version available. So that would be it. We will have the Google Play finally available for users to get the No Wallet. And overall, our plans are basically to finish the Kusama Treasury proposals. And for that, we have 2 parts left, which are the NFTs and the overall user interface improvements and rework, which you can partially see on the right side of the screen, right? And in addition to that, we also need to proceed with a Moonriver and Moonbeam proposal, which is basically focused on Moonriver and Glimmer staking, as well as some cross-chain features which are located on Moonbeam and the Moonriver. And you can see that this is like a version which we have right now for the Moonriver staking. And of course, we are finalizing our process for community selected features. Just a quick reminder, we are planning to allocate some development efforts, something like 10% per 2 weeks per sprint, actually. And we will try to see and select some features which are voted by the community to include to our development iterations. Is Ledger support coming? Yes, but not in the Q1. So not in like in next updates, but we have it on our roadmap. Both Ledger and Parity Signer, which is another popular cold wallet in the ecosystem, support is coming, right? As well as something named Watch Mode. Watch Mode is kind of cool feature, actually. You can see it in other applications, but basically, sorry for the cat, but basically that would allow you to add accounts to No Wallet by just entering the address. So basically you would be able to watch this account in No Wallet interface, right? But you will not be able, of course, make any transactions. Yeah, and more collaborations coming soon. Just to announce, we had officially established our collaboration with Subquery team. You can read in our article, which is posted on Subquery Medium, right? We have been working with Subquery team for almost 1 year now. And actually, if you will go to Subquery portal, you will find lots of our public projects for the No Wallet. Let me show it to you. So if you will type Nova here, you will see like 20 projects which our team has developed. And that actually projects which we are using to fetch something like operation history from all of these networks. And all of these networks require individual support from our side. So we are working together with Subquery team to basically improve the quality of the whole ecosystem, because anyone can use these projects actually to develop their applications and have operation history in their applications. Those are not private, those have open source code, and the API is accessible, yeah, without any access provisions. Right. I think that's all what we have for you today. Are there any questions left? Raul, I remember that you wanted to discuss the whitelisting.
Yeah, if there is time, that would be nice.
Yeah, let's just quickly cover that. As I mentioned, you can add like new networks, new tokens, and new dApps to the Node wallet by just going to our GitHub repository, right? And submitting the pull request to corresponding files. So for example, if you want to add the dApp, you go to the dApps JSON and add corresponding information to this particular file, right? Now, we would like to have some contribution guide, let's say, right? So that our users would understand how they can contribute to our GitHub repository. But the other part is that we need to find basically a solution from a legal perspective, because we need to make sure that the Node wallet will not take responsibility for those tokens which might be malicious, for example, right? Or we need to be very strict with our whitelisting process. So we try to understand what would be the best for the community. In my opinion, we should whitelist, sorry for the cat, we should whitelist most of the tokens if we see a real value which are coming from the community. So for example, we see lots of token holders, or we can see that there is a deposit. So these tokens are based or backed with some value. And that would allow us to, let's say, safely enable them in Node wallet. So yeah, that's kind of ongoing thing, but we are considering to release our contribution guide, which will include that part as well. All right. I guess we good for now. 15 minutes more, but yeah. Thank you so much for your attention and for participation, and see you in 2 weeks. Have a nice day. Bye.